Welcome to the DataCloud Spotlight. Today, we're very pleased to be joined by Ed Ansett, who's the founder and CEO of i3 Solutions. Thanks for joining us, Ed.
Good to join you. Hi, Bill.
So i3's just turned 10, or in its 10th year of operation. Can you sum up some of the changes you've seen in our market during that time?
I think there's many changes, but the two that stand out for me the most are the scale and change of scale in terms of data center megawatt size. 10 years ago, 10, 20 megawatts of IT was considered a reasonably large data center. Now it's hundreds of megawatts. So there's basically around about a 10-fold increase in scale. And along with that, also, perhaps not as significant yet, but also very prominent, is the increase in IT load densities. Those are two main factors. Although I think that we're going to see a lot more increase in both of those factors over the next few years.
Okay, and how about i3 itself? How's your company developed to take this into account?
Well, we started off as just me and a couple of others in Singapore originally. And to be frank, initially we were focusing on IT services as well as MEP. We had the opinion that we would be able to combine those two together and offer them jointly. Unfortunately, the market as a whole is generally not ready for that. So we ended up focusing on MEP, and we grew organically, steadily, initially in Singapore, and then latterly in the UK. Going from doing, when you start out, nobody's going to give you 100 megawatt project. You've got to earn the crust, and start out with the small stuff, do small consulting engagements. We were very lucky in the sense that we got some fantastic early engagements. Probably most notably was the Singapore government data center roadmap, which helped a lot in terms of developing the business's reputation. And we've just sort of scaled out. I think a lot of people say this, but I mean, it's not a platitude. I mean, we've just got such a wonderful team of people, great cohesion between the people we have. That's helped enormously. And we're not the sort of company that is very much sort of bottom line and top line driven. We focus primarily on delivering great work, and with that comes the results, in our opinion.
It definitely helps. So, looking back over the period again, what about technology in particular? What are some of the most important changes in terms of the actual equipment, technology, innovations that we're using to deliver connectivity?
Well, I'm going to talk from my perspective, which is, power and cooling, really. Although I love technology, I can't profess to be an expert. I'm an observer. But I mean, the main difference is there was 10 years ago, we were doing a lot of fault tolerant systems. They were still fairly commonplace. We largely moved away from fully fault tolerant systems to quasi fault tolerant systems. And again, the topologies have changed. So 10 years ago, power system topology might be perhaps a 4 to make 3 distributed redundant. Nowadays, it's 8 to make 7 or even bigger than that. 10 years ago, static switches weren't in vogue, or static transfer switches, I should say, weren't particularly popular. They've re-emerged, which is the basis of the couple of patents that we've got, something called adaptable redundant power. And in terms of topologies, there's been a couple of new topologies that have emerged. But I think probably a couple of other things as well. The application of sustainable technologies have become front of mind now. And that wasn't the case 10 years ago, unfortunately, but at least it is now, and we've got a long way to go. But nonetheless, that's moving. I think finally the other thing that's changed and it's kind of come to the fore is the emergence of liquid cooling, as opposed to just traditional air cooling. Although the industry is still dominated by air-cooled environments, we're seeing a gradual transition to that liquid cooling.
So looking at a totally broad sense here, what do you think our industry's got wrong in the past 10 years? We got a lot right. What have we got wrong?
We haven't got a lot wrong, in my opinion. It's just the industry is very slow to move. This is its problem, and you can't pin blame on anyone for this. Unfortunately, it's kind of most of the changes you see in our industry are led by the hyperscalers these days. That is, once a hyperscaler, for example, when Microsoft decided that it would participate in battery energy storage in Ireland, that was a bit of a game changer, really. And it's kind of sends a signal to everybody else it's okay to do this. So my main issue is that we're slow. I can't see that changing. I suppose, like many other people, I don't particularly like this greenwashing. Okay, and the idea of you become sustainable and net zero by carbon offsetting and PPAs. Those are important things, but there are many more as important or more important things, I think, that data center operators can do from an active perspective and active technology implementation. That I think, again, we're going to see a lot more of that soon.
Okay, so looking forward, what do you think are going to be the main talking points in the next 12 months? What's going to take the focus?
Three things. I think I mentioned liquid cooling, so I won't mention that in terms of any depth. I think demand response is going to become front of mind, and this is what I mean by active use of sustainable technologies by data center operators. There are so many compelling reasons for this. Sustainability is the overarching one, but there are many good reasons that this needs to occur. Grid security is alongside that, and I think perhaps a little bit controversially, but small modular reactors, these small nuclear reactors, I think are going to be massive talking point, particularly in developing countries.
Okay, and how about for I3? What's in store for you in the next 12 months? If you can share.
I hope that we will continue along the path that we're on. I very much want to continue the research that we're doing with the Greenhouse Gas Abatement Initiative and continue to publish papers that shine a light on which sustainable technologies can be applied to our industry. Just continue to grow the team steadily and build out gradually.
Well, thanks very much, Ed. It was great chatting to you.
Cheers, Bill.